Hello everyone, welcome to today's STPL. My name is Kix. Joining me is Rapid, and we're here once again.
Yes, we are Kicks. We hold these truths to be self-evident. It's good to be back for another day of STPL. I never know what to expect when I get here because some of the
Yeah,
weeks are just like the fastest, most not boring, but just like I get it, right? But then like I think it was last week, it
Friday.
was just
Yeah,
like
we were
yeah, it
casting
was
for
just
6 hours.
every unit. Yeah, first of all, it was like an extremely long broadcast. Second of all, like we had, I think, like almost every unit between the three raises used. It was, yeah, quite the day of STPL. So I don't know what I'm gonna get, and in truth, neither does anybody else watching. But here we
Yeah,
are, and here they are. So I guess we're gonna do it and see what happens.
yeah, so let's quickly introduce this week's maps as they do change ever so slightly based on the fact we have moved over into week 2. We're going to be starting off on La Mancha for set 1. Set 2 is going to be on Neo Medusa. Set 3 on Holy World SE. Set 4 is going to be on New Bloody Ridge. And then set 5, if we do get there, is going to be the match over on Iron Storm.
Anybody that says that they remember a game that was played on Neo Medusa is probably elaborating a little bit.
Okay.
Well, or you? Yes, okay. Kix goes back through his Broodwar journal, and he's like, ah, yes, on this date at this time, I watched this game on this map. I'm like, okay, cool, Kix. You wrote that down, and maybe one other person who's your secret soulmate out there, but none of you other guys. So it's going to be really exciting to see more wacky maps at STPL this season.
Yeah, well, just have a quick look at Group A. We're missing one of the games for this so far. Last week when I was meant to cast it, we didn't get the replays, but it has been played. That was between BWL and aSh. We'll find out the outcome of that later in the season when I get to cast it. But basically, IRK and White Clan currently sat at the top of the group, both tied, with Net Wars and Red a dead bottom, even though there can't really be a dead bottom. I guess they are the lowest you can be after 1 week of STPL. 0 for 4 they went down, so it's going to be quite difficult for them to come back into this. But obviously, take another quick look at the player rankings as well, just to show how that's changed week on week. And I need to click the right button, there we go. Not much has really changed in overall rankings, same people in the top 10. Yeti actually extends his 1 win, and DeWalt heads up there as well, but mostly the same people. That's going to be the same for a while, so it's going to be kind of cool. I'm glad Jenna knows about the Flash vs Fire by Hero on Images. That was pretty cool. Also Fancy vs Stork, but we can talk about that a little bit later. Let's introduce our first team. Legend scan, doing a really good job here against Best, but not managing for that nice Zealot drop.
Yeah.
Zealot might drag even.
As if he needed any extra help, right?
Oh man, there was so many SUVs. And GG! The swarm doesn't really matter too much when you don't have any units to go in it, and it's going to be nothing but Lings and Ultras to try and hold on here, but that's not going to be enough. GG!
Gonna tie before the Marine side finishes, and so that
Yeah.
do it.
GG!
Wow. That's it's like Tigers. That's Storm's do best. Kill Hydras. Oh my god, he wishes he had maybe one more.
Not have gone any better. I think this could be the end of it. It is GG! How quickly cards die to me. This is insane.
Yeah, 9+1 units, man. That is not anything to watch out for. But this irradiates the big story. That's
Wow,
actually a
look at
really
that
good
split.
split. But the second irradiate's actually dealing a lot more damage. So that's gonna do it. GG. Miso taps out.
It's showtime.
Okay, so as you can see, our first team is going to be White Clan. Now, White Clan, one of the most insane teams we have in the SCPL. They didn't do too well in round 3. They did come 3rd place overall. However, their accolades include coming 1st in round 1 and 1st in round 2 overall. They are one of the top teams here. They have some absolutely insane players. and I'm kind of looking forward to exactly how they're going to do. Now, one of the funny things was a team, I decided to put the rosters at the top left. Doing whites took forever because I had to type out 90 names individually. They have something like 90 members in their clan. It's insane.
Yeah, well, you definitely did not have to type that out because I did do all the names scroll through.
Yeah.
Is there enough time for that? Okay, wow, I'm impressed. Yeah, because they do have a very large roster, and I feel like, you know, they're not using the team roster the way it was intended. Like, the idea is it's active members, and, you know, sure, they're a large clan with a bunch of members, but, like, yeah, not all of their members play in STPL. So, you know, let's just be real. At any given time, you know, there's maybe a pool of, I don't know how many players to pull from, but it's not 90, because they also list on their roster all of the pro players that are in their clan, and none of those players actually still play for the clan, that is. So it is a very rare blessing to get a chance to see some of the tip-top players in White Clan, but they do still have some amazing amateur players that we get a chance to see week on week.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Our second team.
Take the inevitable win.
Yeah, no, I genuinely was surprised that after a failed 2-fact opening, he actually managed to pull this off, but he did a great job. And showing he's got very strong TVZ, his TVP very strong last time as well. He didn't really take down the ball. It looks like GG. No, Faustus mining behind the minerals, he just wants some money. But we got 5... Whoa, that's like 8 zealots now, and that's gonna be too much. GG.
On everything, so we're gonna see a lot of Stacies, and here we go, running
this is a good engagement here for Alex.
And yeah, where are these Stacies coming through? He's got to hit that big clump of tanks at the bottom. He's running the Arbiters in, but he's not Stasising. Okay, there's one. Needs maybe another one. The Zealot count is actually running out pretty quickly. Another scan because he did Stasis the Science Vessel, but GG timing. There's still about 49 supply. Hit him up doubling his opponent with very high upgraded mech, and that's going to do it. GG Jaden taps out. Wow. Hit him up, and aSh take out Media.
It's showtime.
Okay guys, so we're back again. You can see our second team of today is going to be... okay, this is a bit weird. It's loaded the wrong page. But it's going to be aSh. aSh, one of the least storied clans in the league. Round 1 and round 2, they had a few problems with both leadership, activity, just many problems, but they held it together. Dentard, their current captain, did a hell of a hard job in trying to get more players to play in the STPL for them, and they're still here. Round 3, they did a little bit better. They beat Media and Bull to round out the season, or round out the round, which is kind of cool for them. And now they're here up against one of the best teams in the league. It's White Clan. And let's just have a look at the team's stats here, as it starts to tell a very clear story. And just to go through that story quickly, you can see the White Clan have actually won 22 of the series they've played in overall. aSh have unfortunately only won 2, so it's a new round, it's a new aSh. They beat Bull to start off round 4, I believe. No, they didn't. That was at the end of round 3. Never mind, but still, a good team in aSh and a good team in White should be a cool little game.
Yeah, a little thing there. You know, I think the stats definitely kind of illustrate what we expect to have happen here, but it is truly always a privilege to watch these guys play against each other. I think White Clan, of course, maybe have a little bit more to show, but I mean, that's, if we did an ELO system and aSh won, then, you know, it would skyrocket up the ladder, because there is a little bit of a discrepancy here. So, but that doesn't mean that we predict it to be a complete sweep. There's always the chance to, you know, pick up a game here or there, so we don't know totally what to expect. And in order to figure that out, we have to actually, you know, get into the game.
Yeah, so just to go through the rosters we have here, we're going to start with a PvT between Jeju and Clone Pro. We're going to go into a ZP between Stay and Darcely. I think that's how I say his name. We're gonna have a ZBT between Ho and Logan on Holy World SE, and then we're gonna have a PvP between Yamnam and Dentag on New Bloody Ridge.
Okay, yeah, I'm not necessarily as familiar with this roster of White Clan. Like I've seen Ho play before, but these other guys are just I don't know. They were playing in the Pishibang that one night, and they got like recruited or so. I don't know, but yeah, some new names here for White Clan.
Yeah, so let's quickly in players here. They are the first two players on this list for both these. I'm gonna start with Jeju. Has played twice in the STPL so far. He has only played against Terran once, where he beat Nyoken. That was on Katrina SE near the end of round 3 in their game against me. And he beat Lumaya in PTZ as well. So a pretty strong player. Nonetheless, obviously he's not been around as much. And his opponent here is going to be Clone Pro. Now, his only game in the SCPL so far was against FAMASE in a TP, I believe it was. He may have played PvP. He's going to be playing Terran here today. But he went up against one of the strongest players in the SCPL. So he did try, but unfortunately FAMASE, a very, very strong opponent. He's going to have to see if he can do a little bit better here against Jeju. As they move on to the first map of today, it's going to be the debut of La Mancha here in the SCPL. Let's have a look. Okay guys, so we're back here on Mancha now. One thing to point out is, well, I have to make sure that this is set up. Apparently it never likes it when I first load it. Be a little bit better, hopefully that didn't trim a Winamp too long. We're going to have the players spawning in vertical positions over on the left hand side. That's actually meant to be a 1 and a 2, but somehow I made it look like 2 1s. That's my great handwriting with a mouse. But in a PvP, obviously there's a few things that are going to become very important. We're going to have these third bases. One of them, if they want to take their natural third as such, is going to have to expand to their opponent. It won't be too much of a surprise to see our Terran player creep up and do that. But if you're in the bottom left hand position, you have the option of taking the 6 o'clock base, which has a relatively small area to defend. So both the third bases on this map relatively easy to defend actually. One obviously a lot closer to your opponent's natural, but quite a dynamic map.
Yeah, this map was one of the maps that was played in the iHeart StarCraft launch event when they announced StarCraft Remastered. So that's kind of a significant one. The downside is that it really hasn't been played in any major offline leagues since then. So,
yeah,
you know, maybe we'll get a revival of this map. But it is one of the more iconic maps from the hinterland of the previous era of Brood War. So it's cool to have it come back. And if you watch any of the streamer leagues that are on Afrika TV, then you'll see it pop up there from time to time.
It was in the most recent Mu Pro League as well. So it's a really cool 4-player map, one of the more standard ones. Plays not too dissimilar to something like Fighting Spirit. Obviously a little bit harder to defend the third as it's not high ground and you don't have that like one bridge defending, but it's a relatively normal map, likely going to see a macro game here.
Yes, I would expect so. I just really like kind of the way that the map is set up. It's sort of like it has a little bit of everything. If I put together like a Frankenstein's monster of like maybe 4 or 5 popular maps, this would have characteristics of all of them. So yeah, you get a little bit of everything.
Okay, without further ado, let's get into game number 1 between White Clan and aSh. It's Jeju. This is Clone Pro. Now starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the Teal Protoss fighting for White Clan. It's Jeju.
That's right, and his opponent in the bottom left for aSh is Clone Pro. And just a little kind of note about the White Clan player, the Protoss player, and the Teal. So the Korean alphabet has a double J character, and so it's just pronounced as like a strong or aspirated J. So I'm guessing his name is actually just Ju. Now there is an island off the southern coast of Korea called Jeju Island, but that's Jeju. So maybe he's, doing a cool play on words for that, but I'm guessing it's just Ju.
Okay, that makes it a bit easier to say as well. So, I mean, Ju's starting us off here in the top left-hand position. Not really too much going on at the beginning of the game. He's not going for any kind of crazy proxies or anything like that. Clone Pro actually going to opt to do a wall at his main ramp. Now, I believe fully tight on the right-hand side, but he will have the option of building the barracks next to it, just to sort of add that additional SimCity against the Zealots.
Yeah, I was actually looking this map up just for a couple seconds, and one of the things that I was most impressed with is when it comes to PvZ, getting a third base is actually a little bit easier than on a lot of other maps, just due to the wall-ins. But the actual wall-in at your natural is a little bit wider than I think at least I'm used to seeing on these maps. So you definitely do need to learn some complicated wall-ins, but that's what Liquipedia is for. I think they actually have a list of some popular wall-ins there. But it's a 3-building wall-in for Terran, and so that makes it a little bit more complicated. Things like Heartbreak Ridge, where you can just block it with a depot or barracks or something.
And one thing to note, just in case you guys don't know about the existence of it, someone actually made a website called, and it's got pretty much every wall you can think of on all the major ladder maps. I've been trying to push them to add a few extra maps, because that's my thing. But I can't remember the name of the person who set it up, but he's been working hard with other people to get an extensive list of all-ins for every single race on every single position on as many maps as he can. So huge shout out to the runner of that website, because it's actually really helpful for newer players.
That actually is awesome. By far, there's so much that you have to do to just like play a game of Brood War. It's like, well, you think you just hit the ladder button, and yes, technically that's true, but in order to actually play the game, you got to do things like learn wall-ins, you got to learn all these wacky timings where you can die, proxy locations, and then you get to actually kind of like, put some strategic thought into it. But yeah, there's a list of things that you kind of need to check off ahead of time. So let's check out the scouting information, see what our players can see. It looks like the SCV gets in, and I guess the most important thing is to see range spinning and gas drones mining, or probes mining. So both of those things are true, so there's nothing out of the ordinary that Clone Pro got a chance to see.
Yeah, and Ju did see the factory coming up. Of course, he doesn't know about the command center that was built a little bit later, after the probe had already left. So he could possibly be thinking there might be a 2-fact coming his way, but nothing too crazy like a load of Marines. He knows there's just one Marine on the map at the time, so that was enough to take the probe away. With this Dragoon coming in, it's going to be a little bit harder to block this scouting information.
Yeah, especially when you get high ground and don't have mischance anymore. One Dragoon, I mean, sure, it takes a bunch of hits to kill a Marine, but I mean, it will actually kill the Marines. So thankfully another one is coming out, but yeah, this is not exactly what I expect. Usually you've got something other than just Marines, because it does take quite a few of those to beat a Dragoon.
Yeah,
if you're ever wondering why Terran don't go Bio versus Protoss, that's why.
It takes 4 of them. You need 4 Marines all to kill a Dragoon before they all die, obviously, without any micro or mischance involved.
Yeah, and they all have to be out at the same time. It's not like 4 Marines one by one will kill a Dragoon.
Yeah, so we got the second Dragoon coming in over here. Ju obviously has built a Nexus, which Clone Pro does not know about for the time being, so he's going to have to play a little bit safer, going to add on his Academy really quickly, wants to get that scanner up as soon as possible. Surprised to see Engineering Bay coming down as well, just because he is kind of in the dark. He is expand, so he's going to be pretty safe against anything major early on. But it's obviously when we start seeing the Robotech coming in, especially Reavers, Shuttles as well, that Expand starts to find its faults. But that's why you need that Engineering Bay.
Yeah, man, it's so weird to think about it. You're starting to say, well, what do I need to expand? Well, you need this list of buildings, but then you put an engineering bay in there, and I'm just like, well, yeah, I guess you need that too. And the biggest thing is you have to know what kind of timings your opponent is going for, and then you have to have what you need to stop that while also doing what you want. So you're like, okay, I'll build a siege expand, but then, what do you have that hits air? And if a Dragoon kills all your Marines, you have, well, not a lot.
Yeah. So he was actually forced to add on a couple of extra Marines that he didn't want to do. He's going to use barracks out the front as part of his wall, which is quite a good choice. You'll see him landing that in between that or in the wall to make it basically impossible for Dragoons to get through. And he plans to move it further forward, I guess. An option. But he knows there's no Zealots, at least for the time being. Ju is building a third Nexus up here. So, I mean, just playing as standard as you possibly could for this map, I would say.
Yeah, this is a super standard Protoss build. It's not really weak to anything, but it also is not going to hit any super strong timing like you would have from like a, I don't know, one base speed shuttle.
Got the CC like a few hexes too high.
Oh my gosh, it's a hex it's one hex up. Yeah, because you're not supposed to be able to see the little plant.
Yeah. That's a little bit unfortunate. That also explains why that wall would have worked. I was like, I'm sure you couldn't do that on this map before. But yeah, that's a little bit of a mistake there from Clone Pro. But Clone Pro did scan the third base, I think, and he's just realized, you know what, maybe I've got enough to push the base, I guess. But I couldn't actually think of the right word that I wanted to say. But no, he's going to pull away. Ju has been very good at building his Dragoons, and he's got a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he did lift and is now about to reposition that command center. So he at least did notice it. He didn't hold position his SCVs. So there we go. He didn't hold position his SCVs after they were mining. So they did actually take one distance mine trip. But whatever. He fixed the problem, and that was going to be a little bit triggering if he didn't do that now, because later on it's just like, well, you don't really have APM to try to reposition that when the Protoss player is trying to push you.
Yeah, and to be honest, I know people say that lifting command centers is a blessing, but honestly, you lift your command center, it's like basically hell trying to get it to land again with all the SCVs trying to do what they want to do.
Yeah, for everybody that if you're like one of the Brood War elitists that tries to talk down about StarCraft 2, like just try lifting and lowering your command center, and that'll be enough to make you want to play the upgraded version. So there's quite a few little struggles that seem simple but are actually very complex. And if you misposition your CC, it's just a little bit rough to fix that. But all is right with the world right now, except that the Protoss player is able to get a third base, like I said, relatively easily. And so now it's all about, well, what is Clone Pro going to do with it? He thought he had enough earlier, but I agree with him backing off. He definitely needed to think twice about that.
It looks like we're going to be going into Arbiters here for Ju. He's not going to go into Carriers. Templar Archives finishing up. And I've just realized I've not unmuted myself Rapid. Yep, wait.
Wait, what? We're just not talking.
I have. Hold on. I think Rapid can hear me now again, which is good. But here we go. Looks like Clone Pro is going to move in for the kill. Well, not for the kill. He's actually going to have a lot of trouble here. And I'm hoping Rapid can hear me, but that's all of Clone Pro's units.
Yes, I can. Did I just watch a Protoss player stutter step into a Terran army? Also, surprisingly few Zealots, but surprisingly many Dragoons. And I'm guessing, I guess Dragoons are all you need. Well, this is just over.
Yeah, this is definitely over. There's no mines. There's absolutely nothing.
Wait,
well, the mine upgrade is finished.
He researched Stim for his Marines. I did not expect that.
That is very strange.
Yeah, I have no idea.
this is a weird game, but GG. Clone Pro taps out. Jew takes game 1.
Okay. I mean, that's actually kind of a cool idea. I don't know if that investment of resources to get stim warrants the damage increase that you get. I mean, stim marines are actually pretty good in a large number against Protoss, but like you just it's no, you just don't.
They need
It's not a
medics as
thing.
well. If you
Yeah.
don't have
Well,
medics, it's a
well,
little
I
bit
mean, even if you
unfortunate.
do have medics, sometimes they're not actually that great.
Yeah.
Uh, Wow. Okay. Well, that is not the way I'm used to TVP going, but congratulations to Jew and White Clan for putting themselves on the board with a 1-0 score to start things out.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to our next game, which is on Medusa. Oh my god, thank you so much, Jenna, for the 50 gifted subs. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it makes people who aren't actually here, but that's kind of crazy. Thank you. I'm hosting the next replay, so we're going to quickly get into game 2 when we get back after this very short break. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. Huge thank you once again, Jenna, for the amazing gift. I know that she's suffering a little bit at the moment with a broken ankle, so hopefully that heals very soon. I haven't, well actually I'm not going to say anything about broken bones. That like never broken a bone Reddit will turn against me, just in case. You never know.
Wait, what?
Okay.
There's a Reddit? Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
We're just moving on.
That doesn't matter.
Weird.
Yeah, it's too weird, but yeah, okay. What am I doing? So, let's introduce our next couple of players here. We're going to start with our player for White Clan. He's going to be Stay. Now, Stay is a player that hasn't played too much. He has played twice. He Norgrim and lost to Imber. Now, this was a long time ago. I think this was back in round 1 when Norgrim was still actively playing for IRK. I hope he comes back soon. Aggie, if you're in the chat, hopefully he's around. But yeah, so it's kind of cool to see him here. He did lose his only PvP, so hopefully he'll do a little bit better here against his opponent. Going to be Starsley, one of the newer players for aSh. Now, I don't know what this player's like. I've never seen a game of his, so there's not really too much I can say about him. We're going to introduce our second map of today. It's going to be the debut of Neo Medusa. Okay, guys, we are back now. You say Starsley's a good Terran, I believe, playing Protoss, unless I'm wrong. So yeah, he is actually playing Protoss. I know Aggie actually said in chat he's a good Terran when active, so hopefully his Protoss is going to be pretty good as well. Maybe decides to PvZ for some reason. But we're looking here at Neo Medusa. This is a 3-player map. The 2 spawns we'll be looking at here are going to be 1 and 2 on the map there. There's actually relatively easy map to wall in if you're Protoss. Now, we're going to have the Protoss walling in down here. And the 2 building walls, forge gateway and a pylon. I guess you kind of count the pylon as part of it, but shouldn't be anything too crazy going on. I mean, one thing to note is there is this 3rd base behind the natural minerals, which is a mineral only, and there are the temples here. Now, the temples are blocked off by some minerals, but you can still place some units past, just makes it a little bit harder to go through. And you can also glitch units up there as well by using the stop command on a mining worker. Now that does give Zerg and Protoss easy access to the back door mineral only, depending on who attacks it, but they are stacked, so you need siege units, splash units to take them down.
Well, theoretically, yes.
Yeah,
Unless
or it takes
you're
a long
just
time.
you're trying to exercise your perseverance and just do things the good old-fashioned way. Yeah, sure. 20 minutes into the game, you will be able to break through there. But
yeah,
not best to have splash damage, so something like Reaver, Siege Tanks, Lurkers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, just one quick note: you can see from the map intro video that the middle is extremely open. Now this benefits both Protoss and Zerg equally. It's going to be harder for Protoss to get the massive storms off that they need to, because there's going to be so much surface area for those Hydras to take. But also as the game goes a little bit later on, as that Protoss ball gets bigger and bigger and we start seeing more Archons, more Reavers, it gets a little bit crazy. I did cast a 1 hour 20-minute game on this between Eriador and someone else back when I was doing Clash for Char with Sail, so it's been a while since I've seen this map at one of my tournaments. I'm glad to have it back. It's on the ladder now as well, so without further ado, let's get into game number 2. It's Faye versus Starsley. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the Yellow Zerg fighting for White Clan. It's Stay.
Yep, and his opponent in the bottom of the map in TL as Protoss is Stars. It looks like Star Selly because his name is just Selly here, so I'm just gonna call him Selly.
Yeah, Selly's easy to say.
Yeah, it is definitely easier to say. Also, like, it's not like his name is Flash and I'm choosing to, mispronounce that deliberately. It's like, well, I've actually never cast this guy before, so we're going with Selly.
I can just imagine, like, going into a game with a Flash in it and you're like, and over here we got the Blue Terran, shh. You just refuse to say the FLA because you don't like it.
I'm not quite that at you.
That'd be funny, but either way, I mean, this should be a cool... Yeah, I hope this is a little bit better than game number 1. Obviously, Clone Pro, a little bit outclassed in that game. He did actually sub for one of his mates. We would have actually had a PvP if he'd have not subbed, so in a way I'm kind of glad, because a lot of people don't like PvP. I mean, I must admit, I hated it at first, but I've started to come to like it a lot more. Probably because I've seen so much of it. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, a little bit goes a long way with that. Well, actually, like a lot of it, yeah, it goes a long way. So, I'm okay with mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Something that the STPL has always believed in very heavily.
Exactly. I actually, Burn Toast on TL, the guy who does like the FP mod thread. He was looking at the AJ League or whatever it is from today, and he was like, "Does anyone know what the maps are?" And I was sat at work, and I'm like, "Yeah, I just wrote them all in, like, straight away." And I was like, how did he not know what these maps are? Like, he's seen so many VODs. Like, He's the FP VOD guy. He's got a star. Like, he should know these maps. Admittedly, the two that did stump me were the 2v2 Pro League ones, but I knew there were so few of them that I could just find them on the LPD. So.
Wow. Okay. This is like if your superpower was that, like, you could, I don't know, tell how old a tree was by touching it. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, well, wow, that's, wow. But yeah, I'm also glad that you know maps that nobody's ever played on before. Maybe they'll show up later on in the 2v2 version of STPL. Who knows?
Yeah, the funny thing is the fact that whenever I seem to like think about putting maps in my leagues, like I know it's a complete coincidence, but they'll turn up in other tournaments. Like I just used Katrina SE, no one has used Katrina SE for ages, and all of a sudden it's in the AJ League along with Sim Peaks of Big Do as well, although that was in Move Pro League, so a little bit more normal there. But it's cool to see some maps like Blitz X back again for that tournament. If you did miss that tournament today, it was a really sick team league, so go and watch the VODs because it was amazing. I was watching it without sound, but it was still really good.
Yeah, it's actually a really good tournament format as well. You don't often get really like big team leagues. Usually it's lots of teams with small numbers of people on each team, but this is small numbers of teams with lots of people on each team, and 2v2s. So it's actually a lot of variety, sick production value. It's really good. So yeah, gotta check it out. But anyway, to move on back to this game, there's a ton of Lings running across the map and not a ton of Zealots. Usually it's the opposite of that. The Zealots actually going to stop and let themselves kind of get surrounded here, so I don't know about that. You do have to, you do have a cannon back at home to kind of hang on, so I'm not sure why you would want to fight the Lings away from that. So yeah, better just to get back home and kind of rally the troops.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a bit confused by this wall as well. I think he maybe just misplaced his first pylon and kind of had to work with it. But he's got the next coming up back here. There is a tight wall now with the Zealots. Obviously they are a little bit bruised in some cases, but they'll regen their health because they're pretty good units. And it looks like Sally might be looking to go for a quick third Nexus up here behind his main. Maybe he's just scouting around just to make sure.
Yeah, they'll regen their shields, not their health. If Protoss regen both, I'm just like, okay, well, you know, we got to do something about that. But you are correct. It is third base, and it is in the back, so it's not, super ultra vulnerable unless things get glitched through the temples. And maybe later on that'll be a thing, but not for a while. And now this is that 5 Zealot move out that I guess can catch Zerg players off guard, but actually getting one of the Zealots surrounded from auto-pathing, so that's definitely not what you want.
Yeah, now two of the other Zealots have actually decided they want to be heroes, going forward on their own to actually manage to take out a couple of those Lings, but will regroup eventually with their fellow comrades in arms. They push forward once again.
I like that Stay is kind of splitting the Lings to keep a bunch of them off to the side to keep the Zealots from just like running all the way across the map and getting there ahead of schedule. And as is right now, they're gonna hit at a time that's like not, comfortable, but he's got enough Lings to hang on. And wow, actually he's getting 6 surrounds on these Zealots, so I think he's gonna lose 1 drone, but that should be it.
Yeah, that's an insane amount of work. I mean, there was a lot of Lings produced, so there is going to be fewer drones. Let's just do a count. We got 3 at the third base, 9 in the main. Is there 7 in the natural? No, it's 6. So missing 1 drone. Oh, there we go. Another 2 have spawned. 1 is going to be used likely from Duncan or front. No, going to be sending that back as well. So it could be like a 9-8-3 here, which would be kind of cool. But looks like we are going to have just a lot of Lings moving forward. A pylon being added onto this wall at the moment, just to kind of help bolster that, because he knows that things are going to get a little bit dangerous. Now, the kind of crazy thing I've seen from Clone Pro here is he's actually built his entire main in his natural, so that's going to cause a few traffic jams a little bit later.
Well, not if you only ever build Stargate units and shuttles.
Yeah,
maybe that's his idea. Well, I mean, this is a pretty big main. Like, you can just build a lot of stuff in there. So if you don't decide to do that, I don't know what the idea is. Also, your natural is theoretically more vulnerable. Maybe he's building it so that in the late game, when he gets crackling dropped, his main actually doesn't have that much stuff in it.
Yeah, and he
I don't
doesn't
know.
lose
But
everything.
yeah, that's the big brain play.
I guess the other thing is, if you build all your early pylons out in the middle play, out in your natural, there's not really too much you can do to build in your main. So he does build 3 or 4 gateways now in his main. He's actually added that additional pylon on. He's still got an extra pylon scouting for those temples. He knows that that could be a problem later on. Now, does Selly this hatchery? Yes, he does. So the 4th hatchery is coming up here. Selly knows everything that's going on. But does Stay know what's going on in Selly's base right now? He's actually dark, so it's going to be a while before he can really get another scout in. Oh, we're going to have Robo.
Wow. Yes. I mean, he's going to be going for Robo. I was actually really excited to see if he was going to throw down another Stargate. But yeah, this is going to be Reaver play. And, I've seen a lot of... I was testing BSL the other night, and most of the time, the only variation that you get is like a Gateway Expand versus Forge Expand, and then you just go straight into, Mass Gateway units after that. Reavers, they kind of come in later on once Dark Swarm and, Mass Cracklings are more of a thing. So it's actually a little bit rarer, at least from what I've seen, to see a lot of Reaver play. So it's actually really cool because he's also getting shuttle speed, continuing to pile on the gateway units, and staying on 2 base for now. So we'll see if he uses this for aggression or to make some space to get a 3rd base.
Yeah, no, I mean, usually you would see like 7 or 8 gateways. He is only on 6 for now. Obviously that does give him a little bit of power. Doesn't have the full amount of money that you normally have, given the fact he's got this Robotech. But the first Reaver is going to come in. Now he's going to be heading straight into this 3rd base, and there's not actually anything there to defend.
Yeah, I guess there... okay, so there's a ton there to defend at the 3rd base, but I'm like, where... Or the natural, so
yeah.
Where are we... Is he just gonna give this base up? I mean, how is he planning on defending this at all? Okay, sick. Wow, so everything died there. He could actually just go back and kill the drones that came back in. Oh my goodness, what? Selly!
Yeah, Sally's doing so much damage. The thing is, he was using his 2 Corsairs to harass the Overlords. 3 more drones have just spawned here. They're not going to live very long. A huge Scarab going down. Getting 3 drones and a Hydralisk.
What a legend.
Oh, that Hydra there, like, waiting for the shuttle to come back out, unfortunately didn't actually shoot. So that's a little bit of a misplaced Hydra. So the Reaver's going to get out, and he's going to meet up with his friend. And he's going to go in for double trouble.
Well, theoretically, I think he just commanded it to the bottom corner. But yes, there is a 2nd Reaver. And yeah, you can go back in. But honestly, I really like that play. It's not like it dealt like a ton of damage. It's a lot of damage, but the idea is to save the shuttle. Yeah, and you can take it back out there. That Burrow Ling is kind of cute, but
Scourge
really gonna do anything. The Scourge missed the shuttle.
Oh!
What? Okay, Caster Curse kicked in there. That Scourge was the most dumb I've seen in a while. Sometimes life finds a way, Kicks.
Yeah, and this Borrowed Ling is really, really clever. He knows that due to the fact there's Reavers out, Obs is going to be a little bit later than you normally see. I don't actually think there's an observatory yet, so that's a little bit unfortunate. And these burrows could cause a lot of problems. Now, obviously, this isn't just for the Borrowed Ling. When you're up against Reavers, one of the more powerful things you can do is actually just borrow your workers when Reavers fly in, because unless they bring an observer everywhere, they're not going to be able to do anything about it. Now, due to the lack of shuttle, the Reaver is going to be pushing along in the middle of the map, but it's not as strong as it could be.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go for a push like this, I guess it's to deny the Zerg from taking like another main or something, but you're going to run into, yeah, just massive amounts of Hydra. So let's see what the Scarab connections look like here. I think they've been
the shuttle
good,
goes down again.
Yeah, it kind of stifling the push here with the shuttle going down, so the Reavers are going to have to do the slow crawl across the map, and that also makes them more vulnerable if they get jumped on from the back.
Not only that, also gives Zerg the opportunity to decide what units to go for. We see some units hatching at the 4th base. Dragoon's not that powerful against Mutas, so this could be a little bit dangerous without the shuttle to ferry the Reavers away. How on earth are you going to keep those alive, and how are you going to deal with the mass Hydra numbers?
I mean, Reavers are theoretically the answer to that, right? But the Mutas can actually just dive right on top of them. I think that's kind of what you were saying there in the end.
Yeah.
But this is just quite a few Dragoons. So they get on top of one of the Reavers to snipe them, but actually just look at the Mutas go. They are going to all go down here before they're able to kill the last Reaver. And that means that no matter how many Hydras you send against the Goons, the Reaver Scarabs are going to carry.
Oh, there goes the burrow though. This is going to be really, really annoying. He doesn't know when those units are going to pop out, and they can actually unburrow on top of this Reaver and snipe it down if they want to, and that means Sally has to be a little bit careful.
I mean, there are only 6 Hydras, so I think the Reaver can just turn around and kill them and say, oh, the unburrow!
Oh,
they
fucked it out!
Oh my god, that's so sick! What a Gosu! Holy crap, I think he's still pretty dead, but wow, that was a sick play.
It was, and not only that, he bugged out the Reaver by unburrowing on top of it, so the Reaver couldn't even fire. Now the Hydra Den's going to go down. This is something he can't really recover from. He does have mutants in production, most likely, but Sally is looking in a good position right now.
Yeah, I think Sally might have just done it. Once you kind of segment the hatcheries, then you can't really get that big Zerg ball up. That unburrow play was so sick, but in the end, it was not enough. Man, Dragoons, I think that's kind of the secret for both of the games today, is just build a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen that many Dragoons in work so well. But I guess that can happen sometimes when you go from having this big army to all of a sudden having no Hydras anymore because of the Reavers. The Mutas didn't do anything. Unfortunately, there's just not much the Zerg player can do.
I mean, that was a cool idea, right? With the Mutas, you run back, you snipe the shuttle or the Reavers, and then your Hydras take out the Dragoons. But yeah, that's not what happened. You had just too few Mutas. They didn't target down the Reavers quickly enough, and then the ones survived. So that burrow play had to come through. But in the end, that draws the series at 1-1. So that means that we do have a kind of a close match. All 4 games that we're guaranteed to see will matter, and we might even get an ace match.
Yeah, well, there was one game, unfortunately, that Dentag could not get me the replay for, but that would have been game 3. So we are going to show that eventually. Hopefully, Dentag can get back to me before the end of the series, actually. No, he just messaged me saying, unfortunately, he doesn't have it, so we'll skip that game for now. What we'll do is we'll cast, obviously, any remaining games, and then we'll come back at a later date to show off the final game. But we're going to be heading in to our next game now, which is going to be our new Bloody Ridge, and it's going to be Yam Nam versus Dentag. So I'll quick load the replay, and we'll be back in a second. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. We're going to be heading into game number 4, or game number 3 in this case here. I know Dentag's in the chat, unfortunately apologizing for not getting the replay. Unfortunately Gyro, the leader of Clan White, didn't manage to get it to me either, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but neither of them seem to get the replay for some reason. So hopefully players will get reprimanded by their captains in a fair, obvious manner. But let's get into game number 3. In this case, it's going to be Dentag versus Nyamnam. Just going to be introducing our first player here, who is going to be for white. It's Nyamnam. And Nyamnam, I mean, he's not played too many games. I believe he actually, well, from when I joined White, I know he translates a lot of stuff for Gyro, I believe. He's actually fluent in English, or if he's not, he's really, really good at English. So Gyro, with his own English, is pretty decent. Nyamnam kind of translates anything he doesn't understand. He's only played one game in the STPL, and it was actually against Dragon, so no easy beat there. Obviously that was a PvZ, this is going to be a PvP, because his opponent is going to be Dentag. Now Dentag has won one of the PvPs he's played. Unfortunately, he's actually been up against a lot of really, really tough opponents. Has gone 1 for 9, only a 10% win rate for him, but he still comes out every week, still does a great job for his team, and really does lead from the front, and leads by example as well, because he's never ever missed a game that he signed up to play.
Wow, what a god! Consistency at its finest. You know, for a while I would just show up to my instrument lessons, and you know, I would just like, I would suck a lot, but then eventually I showed up and did pretty well. So I feel like this is the story of Dentag. No, I'm just kidding. He is actually one of the better players on aSh, so you know, we should expect good things from him. But the problem with this is that we don't know the result from the third game that we didn't have the replay from. So I don't know if this is like match point or if we're going to go into an ace match after this. So it might be a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll figure this out, and then we won't miss too much. But let's introduce our third, well, it's going to be our fourth map actually. I just need to quickly fix what intro is going to be coming up, because that isn't going to be shown in the right video. I just sort this now. We're going to be skipping Holy World SE for now. We're going to be heading into New Bloody Ridge. Okay guys, so as you can see, we're going to be heading in Bloody Ridge here. We have seen this during week 1, so some of you may have seen this before. It is a PvP, so the map features don't come into it too much, but the main thing you'll need to watch out for is for Bloody Ridges, as they are called. You can see them with my really badly drawn lines. Basically it makes it very difficult to actually push the way. Because obviously if you have your Protoss opponent on the high ground, you're going to be pushing from low ground to high ground, which in a PvP is actually quite difficult. So we could see a lot of Zealots sort of moving through the center path here to try and come in for the flank, which is quite a strong move if you go for it. But obviously you do have the normal PvP standards of like Reavers are good on this map, DTs are good on this map. The one major feature with New Bloody Ridge that they kind of broke in the IC Cup version, which is why we don't use it, is you can actually block this choke with a single pylon. So if things are going south, if you don't scout a DT, you can try and add a pylon there to block for as long as humanly possible until you can get an observer out.
Yeah, and sometimes you definitely do need to kind of buy those extra seconds. So that's one way to do it. I think the other way to do it is just to, you know, don't get greedy with your builds and make sure you're not going to get cheesed. So, you know, there's two alternatives there, but you're right. If in case you want to play more greedily, there's a chance to hang on until you can kind of, you know, right the ship afterwards.
Yep, so without further ado, let's get into game number 3. It's Dentog versus Yam Nam on New Bloody Ridge. Okay, now starting us off here in this top right-hand position, we do have the orange Protoss fighting for aSh. It's Dentog.
And his opponent on the other side of the map is Nyam, or Nyam Nyam, or whatever I'm gonna.
Yes. At first I thought it was Nyam Nyam, but it's Nyam Nam. So I'm kind of glad he's just called Nyam here because it's a tongue twister.
It was like he thinks about his entire pro career. He's like, well, what do I want to accomplish in life? And the quest is to get casters to make kitty cat noises. So there you go, mission successful.
So is Nyam like meow in Korean?
Well, I mean, Nyan is like cat in Japanese, so
But
no, it's
meow in
not
Japanese.
that in Korean.
Okay, I didn't know. I was just checking.
Nope, there's absolutely no meaning other than making us say funny noises.
Okay, well, Nyam is a cool guy. Hopefully I won't say Nyan too often, although that's actually a lot easier to say, so maybe he needs a name change. Saying.
Well, I'm not complaining. It'll always be much more difficult. There's like 2 or 3 Korean words that I can look at and try to pronounce like, I don't know, 10 times. No matter how many times I try, I always mess them up. So thankfully he's not doing one of those Korean tongue twister words. This week was especially difficult with those for me, so I'm a little bit triggered, but now we have easy to pronounce Korean names for all of the White Clan members, so I'm definitely thankful for that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of tongue twisters, it's kind of funny. In Japanese, tongue twisters, if you realize, like, these are hard enough for native speakers to say. Like, when you have someone like me who's learning it as a, like, second language, it's possible, but they're always cool to say anyway. And after, like, being on the Foreign Broodmore Discord for a while, I learned that there's pretty sentence in Finnish that are the same word. It's like, koko, 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 koko,
Oh,
or
don't
something.
even do that. Raut tried to do that to me one time, and I was just like, okay, well, yes, technically, maybe that's a sentence, but like,
Wouldn't normally say it.
yeah, okay, my dude, like, we're getting a little bit out there, but anyway, yes, I respect that. There could possibly be a more difficult string of words for us to say, but thankfully, we and the viewers and everyone else are spared that. So, just to talk about the builds a little bit, because this is a PvP, you know, we haven't gotten a mirror matchup yet today. Obviously, it is very important to count things like numbers of gateways and which direction the tech is going, and you know, whether or not you're trying to get a little greedy with something or another. We do have a cyber core down on both sides, so it doesn't look like we're gonna have any sort of, you know, crazy 2 gates or early aggression like that. That means the game gets to continue until one player decides to make Dark Shrine or Templar Archives. Sorry, too much StarCraft 2.
To be honest, I'm kind of glad there's no Dark Shrine in StarCraft 1 because I've seen what those DTs can do now. They can like blink around or something. It's bad enough dealing with non-blinking DTs in StarCraft 1. I think I'd probably have a heart attack if I tried to wall off DTs and they blink in the face.
Yeah, and imagine if you could morph Dark Templar into good Archons.
I mean, you can already do that. They're called Dark Archons. I mean...
Yeah. Tell me more about how useful those are, Kix. Yeah. I actually did see a feedback from a Dark Archon yesterday, but that was the only thing it did. And then it died and cost way too much money. So, you know, it's out there.
Yeah,
I feel like
we need a 0 for Protoss, basically.
Dude, Best has been using tons of Dark Archons. He uses Dark Archons in PvT, and it's just like, it's so crazy because like 0 other people do that. He's just like, yeah, I'm that badass. Yeah, it is.
PvP Dark Archons are great when you see carriers as well. Now, often you see those, but we saw a carrier game versus Dark Archons here on Plasma in round 3. That was kind of a sick game, one of the highlight games of round 3. That was Tech versus Fisheye, so if you want to go and check out the VOD for that, you can. But this is more than likely going to be a more standard PvP. We have both players going into one gate, into Robo, and I mean, there's not really too much else to say. There's going to be 2 gates from Yam, actually. I can't count.
Yeah, that is actually kind of a minor detail. He's gonna have a slower robo just barely because of it, but not actually by that much. So I that is just an advantage. Straight up, once that finishes, you will have more units. I was making sure that I didn't miss like an extra gateway somewhere, and I indeed did not. So there might be a small probe difference because of that. I cannot physically count that many probes. My eyes do not work that well. But yeah, you're right. More beats less, unless there's scarabs involved. So we are starting to see the shuttles come out, and so that might mean that we get a few of those in our near future.
Yeah, there's shuttles, but no robo support bays as of yet. Both of them just playing super safe, going for the observatory first. Looks like Nyam is going to be the first one to pull the proverbial plug on moving probe out into the natural. Gonna put a pylon down there, getting ready for when he does eventually want to take that natural. And Dentag is gonna most likely be doing the same thing. He's not on any extra gateways, but he is going for the support bay.
Yeah, so the support bay also being went for by Nyam Nam, but interestingly enough, did Dentar get super early Dragoon range? Because Nyam Nam's was way later.
Yeah. Definitely looks like he's got range, so he's not forgotten it or anything.
So I guess what happened is Nyam Nam delayed his range to get the extra gateway out. Okay. Well, then he's super lucky he didn't get pushed because ranged Dragoons are just so much better than non-ranged. So everything kind of equalized, but in the end, we're going to have slightly faster Reavers for Dentarg, but more gateway units for Nam Nyam. And I think I like White Clan's position here, especially when you try to poke in with just 2 Dragoons.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out.
I think the plan was just to kind of move in to see if there was a Nexus there, but I mean, he had an Observer coming in anyway. So a little bit of a misplay there by Dentag, but still, he's going to scout everything that's going on in his opponent's base, and it's going to be a while before we see an Observer get to Dentag's base. He does have that little bit of extra time to sneak Reaver out. Now, does he have a shuttle just yet? Looks like he did skip that for now. Going to be using that entirely defensively, but I feel like he's missing a little trick here by not getting that shuttle.
Oh yeah, no, Shuttle Reaver is just so much better than non-Shuttle Reaver. But if you skip the Shuttle, then you can't actually get a Nexus up and defend it with just a slow Reaver. But Nexi are like the scariest thing to build ever in PvP.
Yeah.
If you put down a Nexus, you hold on. You put on as many seat belts as Final Fantasy characters have regular belts. Like, you just strap in because it's going to be a bumpy ride, because in general they are so hard to hold because PvP can tend to be a very volatile matchup. But Reavers kind of fudge the math on the way that PvP engagements go. But Shuttles help to, unfudge it and put it back in the favor of the Shuttle Reaver player.
Yeah, now we do have 2 Reavers and a shuttle out here for Yamnam. And this is a little bit worrying here for Dentag, as he's not added on any additional Reavers, not added on a shuttle either, so he's going to be relying entirely on 1 Reaver and a bunch of additional gateway units here. Now it looks like Dentag's sending a few units over to try and defend against any possible shuttles coming in, but Yamnam could be going for the kill here.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I think he's totally justified in doing that. Not only does he have a shuttle for his Reaver, which just makes it so infinitely better, but his opponent built a Nexus, which is 400 minerals of stuff that isn't going to help in this battle. Plus there's that gateway discrepancy, which we talked about later, and there's just not a lot here for Dentarg. I mean, oh my god, he just loses 2 Dragoons right off the bat. Oh my god, another one from the double Scarabs. This is so powerful, this push, so potent. This Nexus, so useless.
Oh,
but
Scarabs hitting Reavers.
Yeah, those Scarabs are actually doing work. That second Reaver almost dead, but I think that it might just be too much damage having been done already. Yam, even with just Dragoons, might just be able to do it.
And this is one of the problems with going for the Nexus first. Oh, that was a Scarab and a half. But you just don't have the money to build the units. Looks like Dentag admitting the Reavers killed him. GG. And Yam takes game number 3 for White Clan.
Wait, that's game 4 though.
well, it's game 3 for the purpose of this, and so I don't spoil anything. I'm not going to say if there's an ace match yet. What we'll do is we'll put a pause on this series for now, and we will come back to it another day when I have an addition.
Wait, but isn't the replay just lost to time at this point?
No, because the players should still have it. It's just unfortunately somehow they didn't send it over. So we're just basically waiting for that to come in. Not going to spoil anything. I don't know if there's an ace match technically. It's always in a little folder that I don't ever look at until we get there. So I like to make sure I'm not spoiled. But when we get back after this break, we get going with Rev versus Valhalla team. Guys,